Hey guys, Shuan here for 1700. I'm joined by the guys from Madina Lake. Hey Dan, hey Matt, how you doing?
Hey, fantastic. How you all doing?
I'm awesome. I'm sure all the kids at 1700 are doing awesome.
I'll bet.
You guys are here for Soundwave.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's like the best. We've been talking about it all week. It's like the best 2 weeks out of the year. Like all you do is all year is if you feel like you just try to fight to get back here to Australia for this.
Yeah. Now, of course, you've gone to a couple so far, but Melbourne is tomorrow. So what can we expect from your show in Melbourne?
A lot of recklessness, you know. We like to maybe try to get hurt.
Try to get hurt?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we play 30-minute sets, and there's a lot of days off on this tour because there's a lot of traveling. So we've played like a total of about an hour in the last 5 days. So I mean, when we finally get to the point where we can play,
it's like
we try to let it all out. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so some crazy jumps from the crowd. You got insurance for all of that sort of stuff, right?
You know, they wouldn't insure us. We had it, and then the insurance company looked at some YouTube videos, and then they dropped us.
That's exactly what they did. Yeah, they did a little research, and they said no chance.
Yeah.
Because you guys are tight. You put on a tight show. Your recordings are tight. You're dead on the money. There's no room for space, no room for timing. You guys obviously have to connect so you get that timing correct. So getting in that space is important. Recording the album, though, I understand this latest album, you guys stripped it all back and took it in turns. Like, how did you find that process? Taking it all back to basics and getting it all tighter again.
It was a really arduous task to make this record. It was a definite challenge. We worked with David Benson, who is, you know, a highly esteemed producer, phenomenally talented. A lot of headbutting, a lot of like him, drill sergeant, you know, telling us we sucked and, you know, screaming in our faces, and it was really difficult. But the result is like, if we couldn't really see the forest through the trees, but when we got to the other side, we couldn't have been more pleased. Couldn't be more pleased with the results. So whatever he was doing, it worked.
He pushes you really hard. You know, like we had the songs together when we went in the studio, and then we did pre-production and got them to the point where they were all going to be. And then the studio was a different experience than we've ever had. It was a large studio, and they had a lot of engineers working there. So everybody was in a different room, you know, doing their parts, and you know, hours would go by. And I remember walking out of the live room where the drums were, just completely covered in sweat and, you know, completely tired and disoriented. And then, you know, he would walk out of the room where they were doing bass, and it was just kind of like, how you doing?
Grouchy.
You know what I mean? Like, you know,
you made it.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah. It was rough. It was really hard. He pushes really, really, really hard. But the result is something we're really happy with. So it's totally worth
we're glad
it,
he did, because until then, I mean, we have always been the ones who applied the most pressure to ourselves. You know, we never got our asses kicked from a producer or from a label or whatever. So we just, like, I think we needed it, you know?
Well, you guys, of course, were Selfstarters. You, of course, getting some funding by winning Fear Factor, the Twin Series.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys talk about this all the time. But what did you have to go through in Fear Factor to get that money to then get the album out, or the first recording?
It was terrible. I mean, just the most physically uncomfortable you can be, and we're not, you know, we like physical comfort. We like beaches and crap like that. This was like cold weather and jumping out of helicopters and swimming through trenches with dead cow parts and all that crap.
I think that's probably why you guys can't get the insurance now. It's probably these guys' fault, because they know how crazy they are.
There's no chance.
And you playing bass and obviously some backing vocal and vocal work. Do you get to experiment with many other instruments though, or is it just you concentrate on what you're good at?
You pretty much, I stick to bass. I'm not very, you know, I'm not like a well-rounded musician by any means. I'm more of like a vibe guy, like just what feels good. It's not like I'll do this kind of scale here because I don't know any scales, you know, like just want to create tension in the songs when and where I can, and just like, you know.
We've got a young audience out there who, a lot of them are in bands and everything. What advice would you give them for starting together and getting a good bond going on?
I would say the first thing is drop your ego. There's no room for ego. Don't, you know, feel like you're cooler or better than the other guy. Just, you know, work hard. And I think the most important thing would be to be patient. We live in this sort of instant gratification culture, you know, and people want something and they want it right away. Take your time and experience life, and that's how you can produce great art.
And you know, it's obviously important to have goals and everything like that if you're in a band, but if you're not enjoying what you're doing that day, then you're not doing the right thing, because the things that you like try to attain doing this kind of thing is like, it's always one step away, is what I've learned. You know what I mean? It's always about the next thing, and it's always about, you never really reach that point. So it's like you have to learn to be, you know, happy in the moment and what you're doing now. And we're lucky enough that we made a record we really like, and we play shows that we really like, and it's like that's what it all comes down to. Do you know what I mean? It's not always about like getting that record deal or getting that specific tour. It's about, you know,
Yeah.
the gig you're playing that day, you know, so enjoy where you're at, you know what I mean?
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on 1700, boys.
Thank you,
Yeah.
my friend. Appreciate
Do
it.
it.
Enjoy the rest of the
Thanks so
tour.
much. Thanks.
Enjoy Australia, and good luck with the rest. We'll see you next time,
Thank
mate.
you so
Thanks a
much.
lot.